This is King Bucho. Welcome to BDA Boxing, the boxing debate arena. Today we're going to be talking about the World Boxing Super Series Super Middleweight final between George Groves and Liam Smith. Callum Smith. And I was right. I picked Callum Smith to win, so there you go. I'm always right. I'm joking. I've been picking the underdog lately, and finally I got it right. Although you know what? I did want to predict a stoppage, but then I was like, man, you know what? I've been going against everybody's prediction. I've been going with the underdog the whole time, so I was like, you know what? Maybe knockout it's too extreme, so I'll just go with a decision. Omar Ali just subscribed. Thank you for subscribing. So anyways, well, yeah, Callum Smith won. I actually predicted that Callum Smith's uppercut was gonna play some sort of role in this fight, but there was no uppercuts. They never fought. They never really fought on the inside. It was a battle of the jabs, to be honest. Very tactical fight. Callum Smith's speed did come into play, which is something that I mentioned. He's much faster. But hey, man. This is the super middleweight division now. I believe Callum Smith is on top of the super middleweight division, but I wanna know what you guys think about this fight. Let's see. Nino Gagi says, "Don't let the sauce stick, Bucho." Jay Perez, Bucho was the only one who saw that coming. No, well, actually, yeah, you guys didn't hear this, but Boxing Style sent me a message yesterday, and he said that Smith was gonna win by decision. So he also picked Smith. But nobody picked Smith by stoppage, so I kind of thought about it, but I didn't say it, so it doesn't count. Bucho Pancake is back, that's right. Bucho Pancake in the morning. Jay Perez also says Smith was clearly the best fighter. It was a close fight. I had it 3 rounds to even going into the 7th. So it was a close fight. Then Mr. Coxie says, "Hey guys, I never thought Smith will KO Groves." I kind of thought about that, man. But listen, Groves is not. I mean, we've seen him get hurt in other fights. So now I thought he was gonna start getting tired. He didn't look that tired. Then again, it was the 7th round, but he looked pretty fresh. But let's also take into consideration that it wasn't a super high-paced fight. Omar Ali says, "Sup everybody? I had no internet. Sorry, I'm fucking misreading. I'm reading too fast here. Sup everybody, I had no interest in this fight because I thought Groves would whoop him, but I was really wrong. You really were." The Shepherd's Son says Smith is huge for his weight. Yeah, he's 6'3". You know what I thought about? Like, Canelo is one division below the super middleweight division. So he's one division below Callum Smith. Now imagine if Canelo would move up to the super middleweight division and fight Callum Smith. How small would Canelo look? Tommy Boxell says, "Where is BDA? BDA is doing cocaine." No, I don't know. He's working, and I should be working. That's what my plan was, to leave these Hangouts open, and while I worked, I would still be listening to the show, but I would be working. But now Stu was supposed to jump in. Then now he's saying that he thought the fight was on Saturday, so he only got to see the stoppage. So now he's rewatching the whole fight, so he'll be in the show in about 25 minutes, he said. So he's watching all the rounds that he missed, but he's gonna be coming to the show later on. Abstract said he was gonna join. I think Cameron as well. So that was my plan. Oh, that's still my plan though. Get some people in, get them to start discussing the fight while I do some fucking work. Because I need some money. Alright. Brandon White says, "I had a good feeling Smith would stop Groves late." Did you predict that, Brandon? Because I thought about it too, but I didn't say it. So now everyone's going to think I'm a liar. I'm just making stuff up. Well, that's part of the game, man. The Quacks says, "I think Groves KOs him." Who What? Groves kills who? Uh, Hop says genuine props to Callum. Interested to see more from him. Yes, I do want to see more from Callum Smith. I want to see him against Benavides or Ramirez. Even against De Gale. Fuck, just make that happen. Assi says Smith is 6'3", Alvarez is 5'8". Go figure, exactly. Although they say also Alvarez is 5'9". Then I've heard that he's actually 5'7", so who the hell knows? The Shepherd Son says Groves' punches weren't really affecting Smith. Tommy Boxeo says Smith is huge. He should fight at light heavyweight. Yeah, eventually I'm pretty sure he will move up in weight. Brandon White says, no, I didn't predict it early. I just didn't count out Smith. Yeah, me neither, man. I actually picked him by decision. Graham Lanson, he says, I'm gutted for Groves. I kind of feel bad for Groves as well. I mean, it seems like when he has those fights, well, he had the the Color Froch fights where he lost twice. So those were probably his biggest wins. His biggest fights. Man, I need more coffee, man. It was probably his biggest fights, like the career-defining fights, and he lost them. And now he had this career-defining fight for the World Boxing Super Series Super Middleweight Championship or trophy, and he didn't deliver, and he got stopped. So I kind of feel bad for the guy. Maybe later we can discuss what's next for Groves. Should he retire? Should he continue? Should he move up in weight? Should we discuss this now? We'll leave it for later. Let's continue talking about this fight and how it developed. Oh, we have Abstract Boxing. Abstract. I don't have the how you call it, the soundboard. So there's no intro. There's no intro today, man.
That's all right, man.
All right.
I'm echoing for some reason.
Yeah, that's normal. It's gonna go away. It should go away.
Yeah, don't worry about my intro. I think we can probably do without it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna change it. Don't worry, man. I don't have time for all this, man. So there's people who don't even have intros and are asking for intros. So I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, no, I'm only joking. I don't give a fuck, really.
No, I know. It's just an intro, but I'm gonna change it. Anyways, all right. Welcome to the show, and give me your thoughts on the fight. Were you surprised? I have the predictions. No, you didn't give us a prediction.
No, I didn't give a prediction, but I've got to be honest. I didn't see this happening really. I thought Groves would probably win by UD. I thought he'd probably outbox him. Is it just me and you on, Bucho?
Yes, so far, yes. Stu's rewatching the fight because he missed a lot of rounds. So he's going to be joining us after.
Yeah, I missed quite a few rounds as well. I've caught sort of like a few bits and bobs here and there, but I was trying to get a link for the stream on Twitter because I just wasn't going to pay for this shit, to be fair. And I kept getting every time I clicked on the link, I kept like getting directed to mad fucking sites and shit. So I missed quite a bit of it as well. But what I did see, it seemed like quite a good fight. I mean, what was your take, Bucho? What the bits I've seen, it seemed like a good fight. And that little counter left hook that Smith caught him with, that first punch he caught him with was a nice shot. I'd have to rewatch it, so people might absolutely rip me to pieces for this, but I got the fucking feeling that Groves sort of like half quit there. I mean, like when he was kneeling down,
he really got hurt, man.
He looked like shook his head as much as saying,
yeah, he's saying like no. Yeah,
it was almost like fuck this. Now I don't know if that was like my head's just totally scrambled and I can't get up, but that was what I first thought. But as soon as he got to 10, Groves did get straight back up, which kind of like says to me he could. I think that's a borderline quit. I mean, what did you think, bro?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. No, because in the chat, Graham Lanson says, nah, he was getting battered. Sorry, Graham Lanson says, nah, he was getting battered. Powerful Boxing says, Grove said it was the body shot that hurt him. And that's true. After the fight, he said he got hurt by a body shot. So,
Okay.
could have been that.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. I think he hit him in the body after he hurt him with the left hook. When Smith had Groves on the ropes, he hit him in the body, and I think that's why he couldn't get up. It wasn't so much the left hook that stung him; it was the body shot. But I don't know, man. Graham Lanson says Smith is huge at that weight. He's pretty fucking big.
Yeah, man. I saw the weigh-in yesterday, and because as I say, I'm not going to lie, I didn't pick Smith to win, but when I saw the weigh-in yesterday, I was like, Jesus. I mean, like it looked. I mean, Smith looked like a cruiserweight next to Groves. I mean, it was vast. I mean, the difference in size was huge to me, and it did occur to me that kind of like is this going to play a part? And I've heard a couple of other people asking that question as well. What did you think of the fight overall? What, because I did miss quite a bit. What round was it stopped in, and what was the rest of the fight like?
7th round stoppage, and I had it even going into the 7th round, so it was pretty competitive.
Sorry, go on.
No, that's pretty much. He was pretty. But a lot of the jabs, basically, it was a tactical matchup. I don't know if you saw round 3. Callum Smith hurt Josh Groves with a straight right hand, but he managed to recuperate.
No, I didn't see that. I mean, the bits I did see, I thought. I mean, for me, I haven't seen every single fight of Callum Smith, but for me, the bits I did see, and of course, like I say, I'd have to rewatch it. This is probably the best I've seen Smith look, to be honest. He was like, switching levels quite well, jabbing to the body, jabbing to, up top, down below, and stuff. Like he looked pretty good, and it like you say, it was kind of battle of the jabs, bit of a sort of like how would you say, like an outside fighter chess match kind of thing.
And somebody might say, well, you have to fight Callum Smith on the inside, because he's the taller guy, so go in the inside. But if you watch Callum Smith's fights, he's not that bad on the inside as well. He has a nice uppercut, left hook, so he's a pretty good fighter both on the outside and the inside. So he's gonna be a really difficult fighter for any super middleweight.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like this has surprised me a little bit because he's put in some performances that were definitely less like didn't sort of like didn't convince me he was gonna come and win this tournament, beat Groves, take Groves' title off him. Like just they didn't convince me of any of that. But he did look good tonight. And I agree, Smith is good on the inside. I think that's whoever's saying that, like Groves should have got on the inside. That's I mean, I don't agree with that at all because for one, Groves isn't that great on the inside. And Smith is decent on the inside, like you say. He can shorten up his punches quite nicely. Like you mentioned, the uppercut. He's quite strong. Like I just don't see you getting into Smith's sort of like wheelhouse and having much success. Not with the size disparity being what it was. Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, the super middleweight division isn't. I don't think of it as that great at the minute, but I wonder if this kind of like adds a little bit of something to it because Smith definitely showed me something tonight, and like I say, I've got to rewatch it. People in the chat are saying he's a weight bully, and I mean
Foulpool Boxing says it looked like Rocky versus Drago.
I mean, he was fucking huge compared to Groves, and I mean, like if it was that body shot that hurt him, it's not a surprise. And I mean, Smith's had power. We've known he's had power for a while. He's had a couple of pretty chilling knockouts actually, and on smaller cards here in the UK and stuff. So Like it was obviously he had some power, and I mean, you know, that I think that size probably did play a part. But I don't know. Groves looked like he quit at the end there for me.
Yeah, I agree with you right there. What do you want to? Do you feel bad for George Groves?
I've got to be honest, I don't. I don't. I know what I know what Stu was saying the other night about Paddy Fitzpatrick being a bad trainer, but after that fight, like the way George Groves threw him under the bus and his kind of like to blame an entire loss on just the trainer. I mean, for me is I mean, he never seems to sort of like admit he lost. He either didn't lose or it was somebody else's fault. Always like, you know, the Baddy Jack fight. He said he won, which that was a close fight. It's understandable. But I mean, this is a guy that's never like really owned anything. For me, his attitude, like I don't like his attitude. The whole like whatever you call that show, the face to face thing with Frotch and that where he was like holding on to his hand and trying to squeeze Frotch's hand and all that shit. He's just like a bit of a dickhead, isn't he, to be fair? So in all honesty, no, not really.
Mm-hmm.
Do you?
No, somewhat. But now that you mentioned that, I start remembering how much of an asshole he is. So I don't. But you know, he did have those career-defining fights against Carl Frost, and he lost those fights. And now he had this fight, and he loses it again, and by stoppage. So I kind of felt bad. But then again, you mentioned, you know, how he behaved leading up to that Carl Frost fight, and now I don't feel that bad.
Yeah, and that's not all of it either. I've seen him behaving like a dickhead quite a few times, to be completely honest. In the build up to the Eubank Jr fight, I know Eubank Jr was proper like trolling him and everything, but like in that final press conference, he acted like a bit of a spoilt brat as well. Like there was some shit about like Eubank Jr said, like, oh, you got that suit because it's the one I was wearing after your fight. I don't know if you guys seen this, and he just looked. He looked like a child that had been like caught out in something cringeworthy, and he just looked really pissed off. I don't know, like it was quite amusing. You had Callie Sowland sitting there because Callie Sowland's quite a funny looking fucker anyway, with that big grin and that.
So
Callie Sowland was sitting there like just laughing his head off, like looking at Groves, and Groves just looked like he didn't want to be there. He's just I don't know. I don't like him. I'm not a fan of Groves. He was a good boxer early in his career. Had a lot of potential. But for me, some of those losses have taken something out of him, and he doesn't look like the same fighter. Even in recent times, he's done quite well. He's won a world title, and he's beat Eubank Jr. But let's be honest, like Eubank Jr.'s lost every time he come up against anybody with a bit of footwork and boxing ability. So, yeah, where do you think he goes from here, man?
I think he should move up, but I don't know. His chin is now becoming somewhat questionable, and if he moves up in weight, I don't know if somebody like one of those big hitters. I mean, like let's say he fights Bivol. I mean, I see Bivol stopping him. So
yeah, I agree. I see Eleider Alvarez stopping him.
But you know what? No. There's a few fights at super. I mean, let's put him against Zurdo Ramirez, because Zurdo Ramirez has been talked about like he's one of the top 4 middleweights, but he hasn't fought anybody. So put him against George Groves, and let's see if he passes that test.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, my favorite guy at super middleweight at the minute, and I know he's a bit unproven, and I know he's had a bit of controversy and whatnot, but it's David Benavidez. To be honest, to be honest, he's my favorite guy at middleweight at the minute, and super middle. Sorry. Remains to be seen what will happen with him moving forward, but I like Benavidez. Great combination puncher, great hand speed, athletic. You know, he's just. I think he's got a lot to offer, like as a fighter.
Yeah, I want to see more of Benavidez, but certainly you can't deny the fact that he has a lot of athletic abilities.
Yeah.
In the chat, someone said there was a good comment, but I lost it. There's so many comments. Tommy Boxell says Smith is huge. He should face the winner of Usyk Bellew. Sure. Omar Ali says Zurdo is trash as well. Yeah, that's the thing. That I mean, we haven't seen anything from Zurdo yet. I mean, if you really wanna count that Abraham fight, I don't really put much stock in that win. So there's a lot of questions still to be answered.
Well, no, because I mean, Eubank Jr. beat Abraham as well.
Oh, fuck, it's true. There you go. That doesn't tell you anything. Beating Abraham doesn't give us any insight on how good you are.
No, especially not at this stage.
Exactly. Mr. Coxey says, I like Benavides as well. Boxing Style says, so you think, I don't know, he's debating somebody. Well, I lost that comment that I wanted to talk about, but whatever. Anyways. Still waiting here for other people to join. Stu, he's rewatching the fight. By the way, I thought the fight was on Saturday as well, and then who mentioned that fight? Somebody told me, hey, no, the fight's on Friday. I was like, what? And thank God somebody told me because I was gonna miss the fight.
Yeah, well,
did you always knew?
Seem like a proper casual here, but I actually didn't. I did know that, but I'd forgot it, and it was only when I saw you guys messaging in Hangouts saying like we're going to do a live show afterwards. I'm like, oh shit, okay. So
there you go. So see, everybody was sort of confused because when the hell do you have fights on a Friday? You know.
Well, it's. I think it's because it might be something to do with the location. I mean, the undercard was, pretty awful. Like I don't mean fights wise. I mean like who was anybody other than the Eubank fight? I mean, seems
like any of
what
the fights
done is get a lot of fighters from that neck of the woods and put them in with knockover jobs. That's what it seems like to me, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, because I didn't see any of the undercard fights.
No, did you see Eubank versus McDonough? JJ McDonough.
Nope. What happened?
No, I haven't seen that either. I know JJ McDonough retired on his stall, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Well, I'm not even interested in watching Chris Eubank, to be honest. But if it was an exciting fight, then I'll watch it. He probably just knocked out his opponent. In the chat, can you tell us what you thought about Eubank Jr.? I didn't see the fight. We didn't see the fight. Overhand says King Bucho 2-0, picking the underdog. Which other underdog did I pick? Because I forgot.
I can't remember. But I mean, like, Eubank Jr. was in against a guy that he was definitely expected to beat.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of disagree. I mean, don't disagree with you, but I kind of like Eubank Jr. He's got very obvious sort of like gaping holes in his game, and it seems to be things that he just can't or won't work on. I don't know if it's his ego sort of like convincing him that he doesn't need to. If he could work on them, I think he'd be a really good fighter because the things that he does do well, he does really well, and he's entertaining, man. He's fucking
yeah. I don't deny that. I just don't like the guy, but yeah. He likes to throw punches. He's wide open, so you never know when he's gonna get caught. I mean, sorry, you know he's gonna get caught. I mean, if you watch that Groves fight, both guys were busted up, though. Although even though Groves obviously won that fight, Eubank got in some shots there, so he's an exciting boxer. Definitely. He takes chances. He's not afraid to let his hands go from time to time. But where he goes from here,
his ego's a big problem, I think, because he even in that fight, like he wouldn't sort of like have it that he lost it, and like I can remember after that fight, even his dad, and like if you've seen any of the interviews with you know Junior and Senior together, his dad makes him out to be like a combination of Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson, and fucking Mike Tyson. You know, like he just. It's ridiculous, but even his dad was saying like, "No, that was the right decision. You lost this fight," and he still wouldn't fucking have it. Like,
oh fuck, man, this guy's delusional. He went to his head, you know. He's the whole, you know. He's A superstar waiting to, a gem waiting to shine. By the way, Ivan in the chat says Eubank versus Chavez, Battle of the Rejects.
Well, I mean, he's part of this sort of like
Father son.
Instagram sort of thing these days. You've got Conor Ben as well, always flaunting various things, but he does these like crazy sort of like speed of light uppercuts, and everyone sort of like raves about them. But it's like, what is that? Like, you're never going to do that in a fight. What the fuck is that? Like,
it's flashiness. Yeah, they're hitting the pads and they look amazing, or they're hitting some sort of I don't know how you call those. Anyways, yeah, just flashiness shown during training, which is obviously not the same as in a fight. I mean, I can hit the punching bag and impress everyone, but it's a whole different thing when I start sparring, you know? Like
yeah, but I mean, like, have you seen like the thing where he does the uppercuts, like he does alternates the hands, and he like throws about 1,000 in a second, and that.
Yeah.
Like,
when are you? What is he, Street Fighter?
Like, when would you ever do anything like that in a fight? What's the point of it? Like,
yeah.
You know?
Like, I mean, not even in a Rocky movie do you see that, man. So that just tells you something. In the chat, Cachnello, give me my fight, says Eubank lost his pen. Oh yeah. Imagine if he would have fought Golovkin. My God.
Oh, Golovkin would have fucking murdered him, but they knew that. I can remember the press conference after. I can't remember which fight it was. It was when all that was happening, just before Kell Brook ended up taking the fight. Junior had a fight, and there was a post-fight press conference, and look, if this fight doesn't happen, it's going to be to do with Sky, and it'll have been them that have put the you know, like he was already making excuses. This is before the whole like lost his pen thing. It was way before that, and I said on the Boxing Gossip podcast that week, like, they know that he's not ready for Triple G. This is all hype. This is all like trying to make out he wants to fight. It's the same thing Mikey Garcia does. He wants to fight fucking Cotto. He wants to fight Spence. The fights never materialize. It's all bullshit, mate. And they're merchants of it. That, like, the Eubanks are just like hype factories, like, you know, like they churn it out like it's like a production line of just BS, like, you know.
It kind of worked, but then you have to show it in the ring, right? You have to back it up in the ring, and that never happened. Hey, by the way, Foul Pole Boxing in the chat says 78 picked Eubank over Golovkin. He also picked Charles Martin over Joshua. He's clearly a moron. All right. We got some interesting comments in the chat.
When people are basing their picks on things other than the skills that the boxers possess in the ring, they're picking them over but based on the color of their skin, or they're picking them over where they're from. Like, it's just like where the boxer's from's got nothing to do with whether he's going to win or not. These guys need to get that fucking shit through their head, to be fair.
Absolutely, man. By the way, we have Cameron on the line. By the way, Cameron, I don't have the soundboard plugged in, so there's no intros.
Look, Cam.
Yeah, I've got a bit of I haven't got much time. I thought I'd come on and just get my things. I'm actually going out meeting a girl, and I'm straight up and just picking me up and going for a drive. Going to get my dick sucked as well. So
Jesus Christ, this is a family show, man. You know, this is
slag.
If anybody wants to see that,
slag, isn't you? You're a bit of a slag, isn't you, Cameron? To be fair,
she's going to let me film it. So if anyone wants to see it, go on my Twitter, follow me. I'll post up after. That's serious, by the way.
Yeah, make people pay for it. Yeah.
Follow me on Twitter, Cameron _. So,
give us your take on the fight.
Good do you know what, man? I picked Groves on points, didn't I? And
yep, I have it right here.
I got absolutely. Well, do you know what?
No, Cameron, I'm sorry. Cameron.
Oh, no, that Groves by knockout, 9th round, sorry.
9th round. Yeah.
Well, fuck that. I've got to pick wrong regardless. But, no, you know what? Smith was really good. You know, very technical, very patient. You know, I've been quite critical of Smith because, you know, he's looked pretty poor, I thought, in certain aspects of his game in a few fights since fielding. But I think tonight proved that I think he maybe just lacked motivation in some of those fights. I think he stagnated a bit, and I think he just kind of rose to the occasion tonight. You know, it was a great performance. You know, it was a great finish. You know, he's beating Groves to the punch, I thought. Overall, man, I was very impressed with Smith. You know what? On the other hand, I think Groves, I think he's actually been very good. I think Shane McGuigan's done an excellent job of Groves over the last few years. You know, he basically, Groves took McGuigan on when his career was in basically no man's land. He lost to Jack, and he went off social media for 6 months. He got McGuigan, and McGuigan took him to a world title, and he's been really good. I think Groves, he's had a good career overall. I'm not sure what's next for him, but I thought, Smith, he wasn't going to go long. I thought it was pretty obvious early on, maybe around the 4th or 5th round, that Groves, to me, I thought this guy is not going to be able to go the full distance with Smith. I think Smith's just too big, too strong, too young.
Fast.
And, a lot faster as well. And you know what? Fair play to Smith, because I've been critical, and I don't mind being proven wrong. I got proven wrong. Man, the guy arrived tonight.
Where do you rank Smith now in the super middleweight division?
Do you know what? It's quite an open division. There's not one king, is there? They've all got different champions. I think, on resume, I go on who's got the best win at the weight, and I think Callum Smith's win over Groves is better than any other champions have got. Uzcat guy won a vacant title. Gilberto Ramirez shot Abraham, and Benavidez beat Darrell. But I think Groves is who did Benavidez beat for the title?
Not for the title, but he's beat Porky Medina as well. I know that.
Yeah, I think Smith's win over Groves is the best of the champions. So I'd have to say, I thought Groves was the best in the division before this fight, and Smith just beat him. So for me, Smith is probably number one. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a career high performance for Smith. This is the best I've seen him look, to be fair.
Yeah, I thought he looked pretty poor against Scoten. I thought, well, Groves' jab's going to land at ease, but he looked really good in there, Smith. I thought, he did what he did. He was on the front foot, he took the centre of the ring, and he was tagging Groves. He was lighting Groves up. And I've always had this thing, like every time Groves gets hit by a big punch, my ass goes. Like that's the fun of watching Groves. Like you know what I mean, don't you? Like, every time he gets hit, you think, oh, you know what I mean? Like, and
that was a bit of a quit. Sorry to interrupt. That was a bit of a quit at the end. Did you clock that? He kind of he looked like he was going to get up, and then he sort of went no and shook his head, and then as soon as it got to 10, he got straight up, which says he could get up. So I think
he shook his head, didn't he? Like saying, "No, I don't want to do this." I think he just knew, man. I think the writing was on the wall. I think he wasn't going to go much longer, even if he did get up and carry on.
I mean, the thing is, he does have some good wins and stuff, Groves, I guess, and I guess his resume is pretty good. But like we were talking about this earlier, I suppose when you really look at it, every time he's kind of really, really stepped up, other than the world title win, he's got beat, hasn't he? He's got beat quite soundly, and even the Martin, fucking hell, the guy's name's gone now. Couple of fights ago, he had a life and death, he was nearly losing it towards the end. You on
about Smith?
No,
you're on about the
Martin Murray. Towards the end of that fight, Murray had him in fits, towards the end.
Murray had him against the ropes at the end of the fight.
Yeah. So I mean, how good really is his resume?
I think Groves might retire, to be honest.
He said no, he won't.
Yeah, I know. I mean, there's still the Gale rematch, but I really wouldn't be interested in that at this point. So last week payday for both, but I think Eubanks can be fighting the Gale, isn't he? It kind of looks like that. Where does Groves go from here? I mean, realistically, you look at the division. Where does he go from here? Does he go for try and rebound again? Does he have the motivation and the will to do that once more, or
moving up? What do you think about that?
Move up in weight. Who was that to?
I was just saying, do you think Groves will fight without, at this point in his career, have the motivation and will to want to climb back up the mountain again for a 4th time or 5th time or wherever it is?
Yeah, Bucho was asking somebody what they thought of it. I didn't catch who he was asking.
I asked Cameron if Groves can move up to 175.
All right.
Oh, no. Absolutely not. He'll get destroyed at 175.
All right.
But he is big at super middleweight. I mean, he's a big super middleweight. I know it didn't look like it tonight, but he's a big super middleweight.
Yeah.
How does Callum Smith make 168, man?
His legs have to be skinny as fuck.
God. It's like Jarrett Hurd at 154. It's ridiculous.
By the way,
that guy is massive.
I want to introduce Michael Stock. What's up, man?
Hey guys, I'm probably going to have a totally controversial opinion on this fight, but I was massively high on Callum Smith when he was on the come up, but I think he's incredibly one-dimensional. Grove showed it tonight. The way I saw the fight was Groves was outboxing him quite clearly. He was landing the jab to the body every time they traded. He was catching him with hooks on the inside. He was landing the right hand. Every time Callum Smith landed clean, he hurt Groves. He landed in the third round, and then he finished him in the sixth or seventh. Was it the seventh round he finished him? And to me, I just think it was a case of Groves just couldn't take his power. When he hit him, he hurt him. But Callum Smith, to me, for someone who's so big, he can't land a jab to save his life. The only punch he could actually land with any regularity throughout the whole fight was a right hand. Mm-hmm. And I'm probably going to be really controversial, but he won because he was big and he hit hard. He was outskilled in every department, in my opinion, and I had him losing the fight quite wide. So that's probably a really controversial opinion, but I think when he meets someone with as good a skills as George Groves, who potentially can take his power, he's going to get badly unstuck. Now, whether or not he was following the old Gallagher plan of lose the first 7 rounds and come on strong in the last 5, I'm not sure. But yeah, that's the way I saw it. Honestly, that's basically it. I really wasn't impressed with his performance, apart from obviously being able to knock out what people are saying is the #1 super middleweight. So yeah, that's probably a controversial opinion.
Well, I didn't see all of the rounds exactly because I got in to like home. I got home a little bit late, and I was clamoring for it. I wasn't going to pay for that. Like the rest of the card was garbage. Like, so I was scrambling, should I say, for a stream. So I didn't see all of it. What I did see, I thought it looked pretty even, and I did see Smith landing. Like I thought he was doing a couple of good things. I mean, I kind of agree that he is a bit sort of like limited, but I thought he looked pretty good tonight. I mean, he was going to the body, he was jabbing to the body and head, like he was switching things up and stuff. I did see him land a few jabs as well. Like obviously, like I said, I didn't see the whole fight, and so I can't, like you might be right. But Cameron, did you see the whole fight? And like, what do you think to that?
He's taking a piss.
Oh, okay.
No, so I'll respond to that. So the way I saw it, and I don't know if people watch it back, and I don't know what the chat thinks, but Groves would at least land in a 2-to-1 jab ratio on Callum Smith. He was landing the jab to the body constantly, and I think he hurt Smith to the body a few times, because what was happening was Groves was, doing what he normally does. He kind of lays on the ropes, and he always, as soon as you throw, he throws with you. And what was happening was Callum Smith was throwing over the top of Groves, and then Groves was just cracking him to the body every single time. Mm-hmm. With kind of like it was like an up. It was like the trajectory of an uppercut, but it was getting there before. So it was kind of like an up sort of punch, and he was landing it all night. Yeah, I just thought Groves was outboxing him. Callum Smith missed a lot of punches, and I don't know if CompuBox or anything is going to show it, or someone does punch analysis, but I'd be very surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a 2-to-1 connect advantage for Groves, because I didn't see Callum Smith. Well, when Callum Smith landed, because Groves either stopped or like went a bit over the place. So yeah. So what round did you pick it up in?
I think I missed about the first. I missed the first 2 for sure, and then I think I missed one of the later ones as well because I lost the stream and had to reconnect. I mean, a lot of the chat are saying they had it 3-3 apart from one guy had it 5-1 to Groves. I think Butcher, you said you had it about even, right?
Yeah. Someone in the chat saying they had overhand is saying he had it 5-1 for Groves.
Yeah,
I agree with that score. That's how I had it as well.
5-1.
As he said, he had it 3-all. Saqib Rafiq said he had it 3-all.
So probably, what rounds did you score to Callum Smith? So I gave him the first round, and I'm probably guessing the people also at least gave him. I think it's the third round he hurt Groves.
Yeah, so I gave it to.
I could see giving him, so that would mean 4-2. But I mean, which other round did you give him?
I gave him the first three, and then I gave the last three to Groves.
I was a bit all over the place with what I was seeing, so I'd have to rewatch it. The Fox Strikes also said 4-2 Groves. Jay Perez said 3-3. So I mean, it's all kind of like it's a bit subjective, isn't it? Like,
yeah, because I mean, like round 3, I think Groves was doing pretty well in round 3, but then he got staggered. But so then kind of started giving the round 2.
Scored that. Oh, go on, Butcher.
No, go on. That's it.
Oh, sorry. The reason I scored that for Groves is because that's all Callum Smith did the entire round. Now, I mean, you could argue, yeah, fine, but I think he does it early, doesn't he? Or was it? I'm sure it was relatively early in the round, and then Groves paid him back with 2 shots, and then was jabbing his head off again, and that jab was just landing constantly, and Groves says it a lot himself, but his jab is just amazing because he was out jabbing the bigger man, which is pretty damn impressive, I think, because I don't think Callum Smith landed barely any jabs, to be honest. I'd have to watch it back. I mean, I could probably watch a repeat tomorrow.
He landed a few when
Hello Golovkin, I'll be like, oh damn, maybe that's completely wrong. But this is just my initial impression. I watched it. I didn't stream it. I paid for it. I know people say I'm an idiot, but you know, I paid for 3 pay-per-views this month.
Yeah.
So I watched it from the start. You know, no stutters or anything, and that's basically what I saw. I wasn't listening to the commentators who were horribly biased. So yeah.
Groves ate some jabs coming in, but he certainly landed more jabs that's kind of interesting because he's a shorter guy. So I don't know. You're right. Maybe we're making a big deal out of Smith here.
But I mean, I definitely think his size played a part here because I mean, I was saying at the start of the podcast, like, I saw the weigh-in yesterday, and I mean, even at the weigh-in, and like he would have rehydrated between now and then. I mean, even at the weigh-in, the size difference was huge, mate. It was so fucking obvious. Not just in height, but like frame wise. I honestly don't know how Callum Smith makes 168. I really don't, because even frame wise, Smith just Groves looked like a child next to Smith.
Oh yeah, there was a significant size difference. By the way, in the chat, German Persian says, "Who cares who was ahead after 6 rounds?" He says Smith was breaking him down anyways. Are you putting too much emphasis in who was winning the rounds and not like emphasis?
Well, no, I don't think so, because we're talking about an overall performance, aren't we? We're talking about how a fighter looked and how they're going to be faring going forward. I think in that context, like how, you know, I think the rounds are relevant for me.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I did a podcast a while ago, and people were saying, "Oh, who do you think is the best super middleweight?" I think it was at De Gale, George Groves, and it might have been Durrell or someone like that. And I said, actually, I thought Callum Smith was going to be the best because I've been so high on him for a long time, and maybe I'm being a bit harsh, but what I've seen of him on the come up, he hasn't been able to do those same kind of performances. I mean, sorry, going back to the knockdown, that was the other point I wanted to make. You guys thought the Groves quit. I think the body shot, he just couldn't get up from it.
That's what, yeah.
It was a body shot that did him, not the left hook wasn't the thing that finished him. It was the body shot, which was an absolute cracking punch. Because Groves said in the post-fight interview as well, it was the body shot that did him in, and he just couldn't get up. And, you know, there's no question marks about the victory. I mean, he knocked him out and he put him down for the 10 count. So it's a KO, not even a TKO. So there's no arguments there. I just think for him to be the number 1 super middleweight in the world, I have questions about that, having seen, you know, the likes of maybe Benavidez and Buscategui. I'm going to say that right because BDA told me how to. I think they'll probably beat him.
Now, Abstract mentioned that when Groves was down and they were doing the 10 count, he got up after 10, right after the 10th count. So that's why Abstract had some doubts of whether Groves quit or not.
Yeah, I mean, he went down and he sort of like lowered his head, and then he looked up and you could see him sort of like shake his head and sort of like say like no or whatever, as if to say like he couldn't get up or whatever. But as soon as the ref got to 10 and said it's over, he sprung up, which tells me he could get up. And if you can get up, I mean, I guess really, I mean, that's a quit, right? I mean,
yeah, it's questionable. It did look like the behavior of someone that gets hit in the body, though. You know, where he's still kind of awake, aware, but he just can't move. I don't know. I don't know if... Fuck, I don't know.
I don't know. For me, if you can get up on the 11th second, you can get up on the 10th, or if you know, like...
Yeah.
I mean...
Unless it's like one of those remarkable coincidences where, like, on 10 he's recovered and he gets up. Yeah, no, and I did see the head shake as well. So yeah, maybe he did. To be honest, I don't know. Maybe he just didn't want any more. I mean, he got caught with a great shot. It did his legs, like the one when Callum Smith had landed beforehand. Did his legs as well. I'm trying to remember. I remember Precise. It just reminded me of something. Precise made a video where he said. Someone was getting thoroughly outboxed, but as soon as someone landed, it just did him in. That was basically the story of the fight. Is like the guy landed and it was over, and that's how I feel about it from this thing. But I mean, don't get me wrong. Groves wasn't like dominating him, bashing him up or anything like that. I just thought he was outboxing him. And
are you a Chelsea fan?
Caught. Me?
Yeah.
No, no.
Just.
What was that?
You're a George Groves fan or something?
A Chelsea fan. People are going to hate me in the chat. I'm a Man United fan, so...
Oh, dear.
I'm probably on this podcast as well.
I'm a Liverpool fan, man. We're going to win the season this year. But, like, that analogy...
That before. but to be fair, mate, I'm also a Borussia Dortmund fan, so I'm a big fan of Klopp. So even though he's Liverpool manager, I can't hate him. I've always been a big fan of his. And what he's doing... with Liverpool, he's kind of fixed your defensive leaks.
Yeah.
I think I'm gutted that
the reason why I asked if you were a Chelsea fan was because George Groves is a Chelsea fan, so I'm trying to figure out
why
you don't want to give any credit to Liam.
Every fight he's had, so I'm probably biased as well, but I'm just going to how I see it. I mean, if he lost, I mean, I thought he lost to Badou Jack quite clearly, so. I know other people said it was close. I didn't see that. I saw him lose. So, you know, take that one on the chin.
I've got to agree. I mean, like, a lot of people had that fight close. I mean, it wasn't... I mean, he didn't get, like, hammered, but I thought he clearly lost that fight as well. Yeah, I mean, I was going to make a point about something you said a minute ago, but it's gone now as well. But...
Was it about Liverpool?
No, it was just before that. It was about Groves.
I said I was a fan. So I'm just trying to trigger your memory.
No, he said Smith wasn't impressive. I mean, when he just knocked him out, like, basically he didn't impress anybody. He didn't impress him during the fight, but Smith just managed to, you know, land that finishing punches, and that's what made the difference.
I mean, it was a nice little counter left that first counter left that he caught him with. That it was nice, quick, short little left that he caught him with. That first rock Groves back. I mean, you know, Smith's he's no Lomachenko. You know, let's be honest. But I thought that was probably a career best performance from him. I don't think you can't really count. I mean, I was also impressed with Smith early in his career, but then he's had some pretty sort of like mediocre or definitely subpar in certain cases performances since then. You can't count the performances earlier in any fighter's career, I don't think, because they're fighting nobodies. And I think, you know, since he's been fighting anybody with a pulse, this is a career best performance for me.
Yeah, that's fair, and obviously it's his best level of opposition as well, right? Going back to the knockout, I was thinking of an interesting kind of parallel. It's kind of a symmetry of how Groves got caught by Froch, but obviously his right hand got there, but Smith blocked it, and then he hooked over the top. Whereas with the Froch fight, he did the throwaway punch, and then as Groves tried to throw the hook over the top, he bashed him with the right hand straight down the pipe because it obviously got there first. And it was just rather interesting that he's both times he's kind of got like knocked out or stopped. It's been when he's been in the pocket trying to trade with someone.
Yeah, he's not good in the pocket. Somebody at the start of the podcast, apparently somebody was saying he should have tried to get inside on Smith. Like, I think that would have been a mistake.
Yeah, the other interesting thing, the way I saw it, obviously, I've probably got the most controversial opinion here, but to me, it seemed like this is what I was seeing is Groves' fight plan was obviously keep boxing him, get him on the jab, and then what he tried to do was go for it a bit, and then Callum Smith wasn't as finished as maybe he thought he was, and that was all she wrote basically. He got a bit too greedy, and yeah, and that left hook was a lovely shot. The way he turned it over, the way he caught Groves' right hand, and then cracked him immediately afterwards. So it was kind of a single motion. It's like block the right hand and then come over with the left hook. I thought it was a great shot. Great finish. And the way he went up to the head, got Groves' hands to come up, and then just planted that body shot. Because Callum, on the come up, that was his kind of thing, and obviously the right hook to the body rather than left hook. But again, it was just such a great shot, and those you just don't get up from, I don't think. And
definitely. If Butcher don't mind, did you see that? Did you see Eubank Jr?
No, unfortunately.
Okay, because nobody. I don't know if Cameron did, but me or Butcher never saw him because
No.
I was out. I don't know why, but Butcher didn't because Butcher's a casual. I was out like
I was working. I should be working now, and I'm fucking doing this shit. Hey, by the way, John Koo Chang is better than Finito Lopez says. To me, it looked like George Groves was shot. His legs were gone. His shoulder was probably still damaged. Well, he didn't make any excuses after the fight about his shoulder. I don't know what you guys think about. Did you see different Groves? Did you see damaged Groves, old Groves?
I definitely, I didn't personally. He was snapping that jab out. Callum Smith's head was going back like a Pez dispenser at times. He was snapping that jab out as Callum Smith was trying to walk in. So it was his left shoulder that went, right? Was it his left
yes.
shoulder?
Yeah. No, left.
Yeah, left shoulder. I mean, like Groves in the last sort of like couple of years hasn't looked like early Groves, like anyway. He looks like a 30-year-old Groves, but I don't think he looks. I also don't think he looked any worse than like he did in the Eubank fight, or even in the Tudenoff fight. Like I mean,
No, I didn't see anything wrong with him. He was fighting like the same old George Groves.
Yeah.
Like I said, no excuses. I didn't see anything wrong with him, but maybe something will come out. I mean, he didn't, like you said, he didn't make any excuses in the post-fight interview anyway. So yeah, I don't think that affected him. I thought his legs were pretty good, to be honest. He was moving around. He was slipping as well. He looked the same. He always has. I mean, you know, my friend, we were discussing it, and you know, Groves, he always, you know, when he's trading, he does sometimes like hobble off balance, and he sort of looks like he's in trouble when most of the time he's not. So obviously there was that, but I didn't see any difference. He looked fine to me. I just, you know, he's just been knocked out basically. That's all I can say about it.
Yeah, he got caught 2 times, and the second time he got caught, it was the definitive punch that ended the fight. In the chat, people were complaining about the crowd. What did you guys think about that? It was, I think, the first championship fight ever in Saudi Arabia. What do you think about the whole arena, the crowd? No ring card girls.
Was there a crowd? I didn't hear one.
Yeah, there was a crowd. They were cheering.
Garbage, mate. Yeah, nothing. I didn't even notice they were there, to be honest.
Yeah.
The light show of WBSS was always awesome. Yeah. Was the arena even full? I don't even think it was. That fight should have been.
I saw some empty seats.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only reason it was there was because they were supposed to stage the Usyk Gassiev, and obviously when Usyk got injured, they lost it because of, you know, they couldn't do the date or whatever. So that's why they got this one. It was a ridiculous fucking venue for an all Brit. I mean, that would have been quite a big fight in the UK. Wouldn't have been a huge fight. Would have been you know, they'd have got more people there. I mean, people in the chat are saying that there was a lot of booing and stuff.
The first round only, I noticed. But after that, they started to understand that, you know, they're not going to go for a fucking KO that quickly, you know, in round 1. After that, they started cheering and clapping whenever there was some action. I don't think it was that bad, but I was concerned in round 1, though. because they were booing like, "Come on, guys, it's round 1."
I guess maybe I'm being a bit harsh then, because obviously we're used to British crowds and they're a lot louder.
I saw
like I said, the O2
I saw
would have
some
been
British
awesome
fans
for this fight. That would have been an amazing,
yeah, of course.
amazing fight.
I saw some British fans that made the trip. I was like, wow, those must be some real hardcore fucking Brit fans, because they went all the way to Saudi Arabia to watch this fight.
A few expats working there as well, though, isn't there? A friend of mine's uncle works in Saudi Arabia. So it's a bit of a strange choice for a work location, but yeah,
you're right. There's a lot of people who work there from many countries. Ashvin says Saudi oil money, baby. Uncle Burnt apostrophe says, cause no punches thrown for like 30 seconds, I think. Yeah, that's when they started booing. Yeah, well, those are the comments. Now we're talking about the crowd.
What was the Eubank? What did Eubank look like?
I mean, to be honest, mate, it was JJ McDonough, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So he came and he tried to have a go, but I'll draw a slight parallel to the Callum Smith Groves fight. Is as soon as he landed, and it didn't even have to be like a massive shot. The dude was flat on his back. The one time that Eubank landed clean, and then McDonough was just, you know, throwing punches and trying to, you know, obviously just be aggressive. But I think he quit in the 4th round. It was a terrible fight, massive mismatch, which we all expected it to be. Didn't learn anything, to be honest. Probably not worth even watching, I'd say. But the undercard was awful. It was terrible.
Yeah, is this one of the worst undercards? I mean, I'm not sure I've seen a worse undercard certainly for a world title fight, given that it was the final of the World Super Series and it was, you know, like for a title and stuff. Like, the undercard was just awful. Like,
yeah, someone
really
in the chat is mentioning some Libyan heavyweight who was bad, so bad, he wrote. Did you see the heavyweight that sucked?
I saw a heavyweight fight. I didn't see who the guys were, but yeah, but it was just dire. When you go down a world title bill and you see like an 8-rounder, a 6-rounder, and a 10-rounder, you're like, there's probably not anything too remotely interesting. And you know, the 10-rounder was JJ McDonough like ranked 100 and something or something like that.
I don't know.
When I saw it, was he a late replacement? I think, I don't know. It's just, for a pay-per-view, I can't think of too many worse. And then when you start complaining about the ones we've seen recently, you're like, well, maybe they weren't so bad.
Yeah, it's true. When you think that it's a pay-per-view card, I mean, the undercard is pretty fucking garbage, man. Like, but anyways, you know what? I'm gonna end this show now, and we're gonna do a second Renaissance probably later. Stu won't be showing up. He says he's too tired. And I don't think anybody else watched this fight besides you guys, because you're British, and I doubt Recognize or anybody else watched this fight. So we're gonna end the show now.
Renaissance show, Bucho.
Sorry, what?
What time are you doing the second Renaissance show, and what's the subject?
Maybe maybe it's gonna be kind of late for you, but in 3 hours.
In 3 hours from now, yeah.
Or if not, I'll do one tomorrow. But because the thing is, we want to talk about feminism in Star Wars, but Stu is not going to be on tonight, so I can't do a show without him. I think Fox wanted to join us as well, but I actually need Stu for this show because we have a lot of stuff to talk about. But we can do a second Renaissance to talk about other stuff, but I need to work. That's the thing. I need some hours to work, so shit, I don't know. I can't promise anything, man, but tomorrow for sure I'm doing a show.
Drop us a message. Just let us know I'll be up probably. So just drop us a message, man.
Yeah. In the group chat, I'll obviously let you know.
Cool.
All right, guys. Thank you for coming and giving us your input on the fight. I'll see you guys next time.
Cheers, guys. Peace.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for letting me on. See you later, guys.
See you later, man.
Bye, ciao. And everybody in the chat as well. Thank you for coming. Jesus, there's a lot of people. I forgot all the names here, but the usual suspects are here. I don't see anybody missing. Well, yeah, there's a few people missing, but thank you for coming, guys. I'll probably be doing another show later tonight, a Second Renaissance show. So if you're not subscribed to the Second Renaissance, you need to do so. In that show, we talk about anything and everything. So if you like conspiracies, go into the Second Renaissance and subscribe. As he says, go to work, Bucho, you bum. Yeah, I need to go to work. I shouldn't be doing this. It was peer pressure, man. Peer pressure. People were telling me that, yeah, are you going to do a show? We need to do a show. And they're right, because, you know, I'm doing a show right after the fight, so it's still hot. If I do one tomorrow, there won't be that much interest in this fight. Anyways, thank you guys, and I'll see you next time. Take care.